You got to be able to put the boats in, you got to be able to take the boats out.
The drought is causing more than a few problems for the city, even delaying the drag boat races. We'll hear from a boat shop owner about how it's affecting the whole community.
It's awesome to walk in the classroom and just see their faces brighten up.
And ASU football players are cracking the books, this time to read to San Angelo elementary students.
And our storm system from this morning is pulling away quickly, being replaced by winds, fire danger, and extreme temp climbs. I'll tell you all about it coming up.
In high definition, this is KIDY Fox News First at 9:30.
The suspect who was shot by police on Monday after an attempted aggravated robbery at a Northside Walmart has died. Good evening, I'm Jenna Rogers. 42-year-old Charles Wellborn of Carthage, Texas, died around 11:30 last night at Shannon Medical Center. He was shot 3 times after he broke a glass rifle case with a hammer and pointed a gun at several customers and employees at the Walmart on 29th Street. Wellborn then ran to his car where he broke a glass bottle and charged at police. SAPD is not releasing the name of the officer who shot Wellborn. His body was sent to Lubbock, Texas for an autopsy, and now that case is being turned over to the Texas Rangers. Well, we saw a little bit of rain overnight, but what's in store for tomorrow? Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation joins us now to fill us in. Chris?
Thanks, Jenna. Yeah, when you say a little bit of rain, you mean a little bit. We had about 1/100th of an inch. I was hoping for about 1/10 of an inch. Didn't even get close to that. Now it's being replaced by the storm system that's pulling away by extreme winds and fire danger. Let's head over to the scope, show you what's going on with the radar. Right now, pretty much clear out there. A little bit of ground disturbance. No actual energy. We put it into motion to be sure. What you see, that line on the far edge of your screen, that is actually the dry line receding back to the west. We're going to talk about that in Maine weather. Notice the cloud deck. That's that haze there. Above it, things are fine and clear, but at about 12,000 feet, we've still got that in play. Now, fire weather watch in effect from noon till 10 p.m. tomorrow for a good portion of the viewing area. And the extreme winds have shot the allergies up. Tomorrow, 11.7. That is now the highest reading I've ever seen. You're going to need those meds tomorrow. Quick check of your daily breakdown. 59 when you head out in the morning. Windy, mild 77 by lunchtime. Afternoon warm and about 87 degrees, Jen. We're talking about fire danger, 20-degree climb in temps, as well as a dry line moving fast. I'll tell them all about it in full weather coming up.
Thanks, Chris. Well, I guess a little bit of rain is better than nothing. And as a matter of fact, the lake will be a little quieter this June than it has been in the last 8 years. The annual drag boat races are postponed until September, and one drag boat racer told KIDY reporter Stephanie Johnson what this means to his hobby and the city as a whole.
Drag racing boats in San Angelo will be starting up later than normal. And San Angeloan boat racer Steve Walls says he's been watching the lake levels.
Well, it didn't look good from the start.
But he isn't discouraged.
I believe one good rain event will make all the difference in the world.
That's why the showdown in San Angelo was moved from the end of June to September. But if that one rainfall does not come in time, boats won't be starting up at all.
You got to be able to put the boats in, you got to be able to take the boats out.
Right now, lake levels are only at 60%. As you can see, it only rises to my shins. That makes it nearly impossible for boats to even enter the water, let alone race in it.
The lanes have to be a certain width for all the boats. And the depth, we do need the depth, but you got to have the width to get the lanes to the certain width for each boat.
About 120 boats participate in the race, and not only will the event affect the hobby of the drivers, but Walls says the Chamber of Commerce estimates that the city may take a near $2 million loss of revenue.
I think it's been voted good best track of the season several years running, and I sure hope we get rain to make it happen.
The race has never been postponed, let alone canceled. But then again, the city is seeing one of its worst droughts.
If we don't get rain, we've got more problems in boat racing.
And as always, in San Angelo,
pray for rain.
Stephanie Johnson, KIDY, Fox News First.
Well, this is an alarming statistic. In the state of Texas, a child is abused or neglected every 8 minutes. But one local organization is trying to help. KIDY reporter Danny Rondeau has more.
We always worry about the safety of our children when they step out the front door. But what about the young ones who are harmed at home?
The Children's Advocacy Center, we strive to prevent child abuse and neglect and secure for each child a safe and nurturing home.
In 2013, 483 children were victimized by this crime in Tom Green County alone.
I say it's prevalent, but it is preventable. So there's something we all can do to change those numbers and to make it less.
The center implements 4 different programs to aid our children.
A child is removed from their home because of abuse or neglect, and they enter the court system. The CASA goes about and they gather every information they can about the child so that the judge can make an informed decision about what's going to be the best interest for the child. Hope House, the children come in here in this warm, friendly atmosphere, and then they get to tell their story one time about the abuse or neglect, and then they're not traumatized over and over and over again. Our family enrichment services, and that's the side where we get to go out and talk about awareness and do preventative types of things with our families. And then child fatality review team, if there is an incident in San Angelo and unfortunately there is a death, then that is reviewed and the whole team looks at it to see if there's something we can do in the future to prevent that.
When a child has been abused or neglected, their world may be falling apart around them. But the Child Advocacy Center of Tom Green County is tirelessly working to put those pieces back together.
We had an individual, and she spoke about the difference that it made for her, and her children had to come in here and tell their story here at Hope House. And then she also received the service in family enrichment services. So it made a profound difference in her life and the life of her children.
Volunteers constantly say that while they are changing the lives of these children, their lives in turn are altered forever. I'm Danny Rondeau with KIDY, Fox News First.
And if you're interested in volunteering, you can call the Children's Advocacy Center, and that's that number on your screen right there. This Saturday, Angelo State's ROTC program will host the second annual 5K run for wounded veterans. Registration begins at 8 a.m. at the ASU Pavilion on the east side of campus, and the race will begin at 9 a.m. Registration is just $10 for the general public, $8 for ASU students and military, and $4 for the 1 mile fun run for kiddos. All proceeds will benefit the Wounded Warrior Project.
I feel that there's not many events around here that go to support directly the wounded veterans of our nation. So, especially in San Angelo, like this is a small city, and this event gives awareness about things like that.
For more information, you can log on to angelo.edu. Well, the ASU football team takes their reading skills to the students of elementary schools around San Angelo. KIDY reporter Lauren Sarchipone tagged along to see how the program is helping kids.
Angelo State football players have to read more than just their routes.
I didn't have anything like this growing up.
San Angelo ISD paired with ASU head football coach Will Wagner to bring the ASU Rams Read program to SAISD elementary schools.
I enjoy doing it. It means a lot for me to be able to come do this for the kids.
Future college athletes of America learn reading skills from Angelo State football players. Students pick out books they want to read, and the players help them sound out words and even teach them their meanings.
Good. Going. Reading is a life skill that everybody has to have, and it starts from the lowest levels up. And so I feel like we're just helping promote a life skill for these kids.
Principal Clark of Reagan Elementary says her students enjoy the time they get to spend with the 20 or so players who show up every other Monday and Wednesday for 30 minutes.
When they see ASU football players reading and showing an interest in their reading, then it shows them that this is important. It's not just for school. If I'll have to read if I'm a football player.
That's absolutely right. These players are helping the future footballers understand that if they want the contract, they're going to have to know how to read it.
The most important thing right now is, I guess, in life is reading. So if you get a contract, you have to learn how to read and what words mean. So reading is like one of the key steps.
ASU Rams Read program is just another way the Rams give back to the community.
I really think it makes them happy. When we come in the classroom, I always see a smile, so I think it's going good.
I'm Lauren Sarchipone.
Oh, it's awesome to walk in the classroom and just see their faces brighten up.
KIDY, Fox News First.
Nothing cuter than a football player reading to a kid. Well, ASU football players say the community has done so much for them, and this is just a small way they like to give back. Well, stay with us. The death toll rises in this past weekend's Washington landslide. Why some wonder if the people of the small town were given enough warning. And more objects are discovered in the search for missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. We have all the latest next.
In high definition, Rick Tomlin, Jenna Rogers, Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, and Sports Director Manny Diaz. This is KIDY Fox News First at 9:30.
The death toll from a huge landslide in Washington this past weekend has risen to more than a dozen, and more than 170 people are still unaccounted for. Some wonder if the was prepared for this kind of emergency, and here's more from Washington.
Scores of people are still missing 4 days after the massive mudslide in Snohomish County, Washington. Many grasp for any glimmer of hope there might still be survivors who were trapped.
It's horrible because I know she's down there under the mud in the dark. My family has been down there digging for her.
Authorities say it's still a rescue mission, but no one has been found alive since Saturday. Workers from federal, state, and local agencies are on the scene helping with the search efforts, and President Obama signed an emergency declaration. Meanwhile, some wonder if the people of this small town were given enough warning about a possible landslide.
People knew that this is a landslide-prone area. Sometimes big events just happen. This event happened, and I want to find out why. We did everything that we could have done in the community to feel safe.
Officials say they plan to take a hard look at how events like these can be predicted, but also say Snohomish County was as prepared as they possibly could have been. I'm Martha Shade reporting.
Well, there are still more questions than answers about Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. New satellite images show 122 objects floating in the southern Indian Ocean. Now, that's not far from other satellite sightings being pursued in the search right now. And Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel was asked today whether terrorism can be ruled out as a cause for the missing flight.
I don't think at this point we can rule anything in or out. I think we have to continue to search as we are. So until we have more information, we don't know.
New technology is being used in the search now, and this multi-million-dollar machine is actually searching the seafloor. Well, Chris Nation has your full forecast coming up, and Chris, it seems like we're in for a breezy end to the week.
Yeah, Jenna, we're talking about extreme winds tonight, tomorrow. We've got tornadoes on the west coast, blizzards on the east, and we're stuck in the middle. What's coming up next? I'll let you know in full weather. Stick around.
Now, from the KIDY Fox News First Weather Center, Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation.
Good evening and welcome back. Start you off like I always do, Supermax 3D radar. Now, this storm system was a quick one. We had a little bit of thunder this morning, a tiny bit of rain, and by about 11 to 12 o'clock in the morning, it was gone. This thing's already almost up to St. Louis at this point, but let's pull out because I want to show it to you because I promise it did exist. It's just so far away at this point. Now moving into St. Louis and the Memphis Valley. It's gone. I wish I could tell you we got a ton of rain. We didn't. Now, the clouds kind of stuck around most of the evening. These are at about 10, 11,000 feet. Very little thin layer there, just kind of poofy cumuluses, but they can't do anything. There's just no energy left. It's just basically leftover moisture. Now, on the other side of the coin, I want to show you, look at how far out this goes beyond Big Lake, all the way up to Midland. Fire weather watch, in effect, from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. tomorrow because temps are going up about 25 degrees and the winds are going to stay strong. Now, right now, we're at 62. Dew point, 53. Humidity level, 72%. I tell you, we were $1 short and a day late on this one because if we'd had the moisture a couple hours sooner, we would have had a ton of rain. We just couldn't quite meet up. Winds out of the south at 22 miles an hour sustained. We've already clocked gusts over 30 just in the last half an hour. Now, temps out there ranging in the upper 50s to the low 60s, and it will be fairly mild night. The winds will be the problem. We're already sustained here in San Angelo 22, El Dorado 23. Same thing for Brady as well as Menard. Those are sustained, meaning it's constantly blowing at 23 miles an hour. Gusts that we've clocked here at the broadcast center just in the last half an hour, well, we're about 41 in Mertzen, even 32 here. Our friends in Menard got one of 30, and if you're out in Brady, we clocked one of 41 there 5 minutes ago. That's what was rattling your windows. Dew points in the 40s to 50s. Good moisture, but it will be gone by tomorrow morning. We're tracking a dry line that's going to move in and sweep all of this moisture away and then shoot the temps up. I want you to notice our storm system all the way up into St. Louis at this point, and the bottom of the energy pushing through Houston right down towards really Florida. Now, I also mentioned earlier tornadoes in California. Hard to believe, just to the south and north of Frisco, 2 tornadoes positively confirmed, maybe a third and a fourth, all in the last hour. So what's going on? They've got a huge storm system up by Seattle that's creating energy as it comes on shore. For us, we're kind of stuck between systems. We have our system pulling away from St. Louis, pulling warm air in. And I want you to notice, we'll zoom in. Here's how the next 24 hours breaks down. We're cool and humid. I can't even rule out a light misty kind of sprinkle overnight, but no real actual rain. Then about 10 in the morning, this right here, we call a dry line as well as a surface low, rapidly sweeps through the area, clears the deck. Not only does it take all the moisture and the humidity levels away, it's going to sweep the clouds away as well. What's going to be replacing that? This, the red and the yellow and the oranges you see in here are going to spread over the area as the winds shift to the southwest. And we're talking highs, 20, 22 degrees warmer. Now, any shot of rain in the next few days? Unfortunately not. I stopped it right here to show you this very strong curve you see in the clouds. That's the dry line. Quickly sweeps past Dallas. By 5 o'clock, there's not even a dry line in Texas anymore. One little small glimmer of hope. By about 10 a.m. Friday, may see a few poppers by San Antonio, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. I think our next shot will be the middle of next week. So we got a little bit, but not much out of this system. Let's talk about something else. I want you to first of all notice we talk about the Storm Prediction Center all the time. They put the threat box out by Dallas. Our storm chasers are no longer on standby, so we're not worried about that. Futurecast winds projects them to stay strong. Notice the gusts. They're going to be in the 40s. Overnight lows in the upper 50s to low 60s out there. Here in town, 59, mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild. What about tomorrow? I told you, 20 degrees higher, 87, mostly sunny and windy. Highs are going to be in the upper 80s. Some of us may be flirting with the 90-degree mark. Quick check in the next 7 days for you. 87. Then the weekend, very nice. Weak cool front. Now, I'll go 20% Tuesday and Wednesday, but at this point, Jenna, I'm seeing the data. We may have a problem next Thursday. Now, it's far out, but it is projecting severe weather, so we're going to keep the team on standby.
Gotcha. I heard the rain last night, so I believe you, but it was so small. It was just quick.
The storm system was moving over 90 miles an hour, so we got a tiny taste, and it was gone.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Big changes are coming to the ASU campus, and Manny Diaz is here to fill us in. Manny?
Angelo State football has bid farewell to San Angelo Stadium. Find out how, plus what's been the biggest improvement this spring for the Rams, and how about them Central Lady Cats? Sports is next.
Now with your local sports, KIDY Fox News First Sports with Manny Diaz.
Being able to look out from that weight room and seeing that beautiful surface and understanding that when you come to that field, it's like coming home.
Dominic will have a new home this fall as Rams football will be leaving San Angelo Stadium for the LeGrand Sports Complex. All right, back when Angelo State announced that the Rams would open the season at LeGrand Stadium this fall, you had to suspect that probably wouldn't be the last time a game would be played on campus. Well, thanks to a generous donation by Dr. Robert and Jean Ann LeGrand, that idea has come to fruition. The $1.4 million donation will provide lights and bleachers at the stadium, which means all home games will now be on campus. Meanwhile, the LeGrand's generosity is all about paying it forward and a little motivation from some friends.
I guess a lot of thanks goes to Steve and Pollyanna as examples to this community. If we all work together and pull together, we can make this one of the best universities ever.
From the Rams' point of view, Will Wagner and his team will have an official place to call home, adding that extra piece of home cooking.
Our kids understand the tradition that's here at Angelo State University, and they're excited to establish a new tradition of playing all home games here. We talk about a home field advantage. There's some great places in the Lone Star Conference that have that, and now we get to add to it as well.
Angelo State will open the season at LeGrand Stadium on September 13th against Western State. Well, keeping Rams football in mind, spring ball continues, and how about that defensive line? Not exactly a force to be reckoned with last season, but with new defensive coordinator Greg Gersh in town, well, it's been the D-line that's already seen the most improvement.
We preach each and every day to our kids, and Coach Delgado's done a great job of preaching, be technicians in what you're doing. Be a technician in the D-line, where my steps go, where my hands go.
We've lost Joey Searcy and Kyle Patterson up front, two main players from our defense last season. So those guys inside have done a great job replacing them.
All right, the Rams defense will look to put more pressure on the opposing quarterback after being ranked 6th in the Lone Star Conference in pass defense. All right, the Central Lady Cats are also playoff bound, and thanks to a set of seniors who are setting the bar for future Lady Cats to follow.
The Central High Lady Cats are headed to the playoffs, and for their 4 seniors, it's all or nothing.
It's either our last game or, we keep going farther and farther. We push each other, especially the seniors. We push each other, and then we push the underclassmen. They're going to get to their year, and they're going to understand where we're coming from.
These girls have played together for years, and the bond they have forged in their orange and blue strengthens their team on and off the pitch.
We all grew up playing together, so we're all very close girls. We've done this for a long time, and it means a lot being able to stay with them throughout these years.
Ariana's a defender, and Monica's an outside mid, and Bree's an outside mid, and I'm a center mid. So having us all out there on the field together it just works really well. We can tell like when they're going to be running up the field, like where to play the ball at the right speed, and like what their pace is to get to the ball.
Last season, Central was the top dog in their district. This year, it's a different story.
Even though we're the underdog, I think that's going to be an advantage too, because they're going to underestimate us. If we go in like we got to beat this team and break their undefeated streak, then we'll be good.
I'm Danny Rondeau with KIDY, Fox News First.
Good stuff, Danny. Central will square off against El Paso Franklin in the opening round of the playoffs, so good luck to them.
Yeah, they look like pretty tough girls.
Oh, yeah, they do. And especially as an Angelo State alum, so glad to see that we're actually going to be playing on campus now. So
absolutely, great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Manny. Stay with us. We have a last look at your weather, and we're also going to show you this daring rescue. You won't want to miss it. Stick around. Take a look at this incredible rescue. Witnesses captured the tense moment on camera, and as a construction worker was clinging to the ledge of a Houston building that caught fire yesterday.
Nice catch.
Now check this out.
This is the part.
Yeah,
right,
rescuing him just in time as the building falls.
Gosh.
Lucky, lucky guy.
Somebody had a whole team of angels working for them out there.
No kidding.
That's a miracle shot.
That's amazing.
That video
it just
is
all
just
came
so
toppling
dramatic.
down.
Yeah, the entire side buckling in. That's incredible. Somebody definitely needs to be saying a prayer and a thank you for that one.
Absolutely.
I don't expect anything crazy like that. I'm expecting winds, though, to be an issue in fire danger. Let's start you off with the radar because the storm system is now long gone out there. So we put it into motion for you. Still nothing there. It's out of here. Fire weather watch is the issue at this point. Fire weather in effect from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. tomorrow. Right now, winds are already sustained at 24 miles an hour. Gusts already in excess of 40. What does that mean for tonight? Well, right now we're in the low 60s, upper 50s. Tonight's lows aren't much better. The Supermax Futurecast computer is clear. Your overnight lows in the upper 50s to low 60s. Tonight, 59, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild night. Quick check of the next 7 days. Guys, we're in the 80s, fire danger and windy for 2 days. Great weekend. Storms in the middle of next week, maybe severe by Thursday.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
London Broadcasting Company. Texas born, Texas proud. We are Texas.
Hairstyles provided by Inspiro Salon.